A young beautiful woman, Karika, enters the building of a huge company named Dragon Bank. She is the daughter of the president of this company, so she is here to do the interviews for the company's new recruits. Meanwhile, a young man named Gaku is practicing for his interview in front of the mirror in the bathroom. Gaku has been dreaming of working in this company since his childhood, and today is the day to achieve his dream. But he is a nerd lacking any communication skills. He is so nervous that he makes blunders in front of the recruiting committee. He can't even talk his heart out clearly. Though he is a nerd, he has exceptional computer skills. He has identified some loopholes in the Dragon Bank system, which he can use to hack the whole company. Karika identifies his talent and selects him. However, Gaku still has to go through the training sessions, during which he can be called disqualified if he does not perform well. After Gaku left, another applicant named Haru came for the job interview. He is much more confident and has exceptional communication and persuasive skills. In his overconfidence, he talks big and impresses Karika somehow. So, Karika also selects him. Outside the building, when Gaku is trying to buy a drink from a vending machine, his bill slips from his hands and flies in the air. He runs behind it, but Haru suddenly comes there and takes the bill by jumping high to catch it. There, Haru identifies Gaku as his old school friend. They met in the past when some goons were torturing Gaku for money, and Haru came there to beat off the goons, but the fight was captured on a street camera. Seeing this, Haru was scared that he would be struck out of the school for this fight, but then Gaku used his computer skills and hacked into the security system of that camera. There, he deleted the footage capturing Haru fighting with goons for him. In this way, their friendship started at that time. Back at the present, Haru says that he has always been successful in getting jobs after school. He has changed his employment a lot and has now come to work at the Dragon Bank. But Gaku has been unfortunate all the time. He hasn't even gotten a job yet. After some days, when Gaku is working at his side job as a glass cleaner at the building of Dragon Bank, Haru comes there and says that he quit his job at Dragon Bank. Haru wants to start his own company, and for that, he needs Gaku. Haru is a man of persuasive skills, but he needs a person with knowledge and skills who can do the technical work like Gaku. That's why Haru explained the roadmap of their company to Gaku and asked him to join in on this mission. The name of their newborn company is Trillion Game, and they intend to make trillions of dollars from this company in the end. The headquarters of their company is their apartment room. Haru comes there with a new chair. He has spent all their saved money on that chair, which is for Gaku. He wants Gaku to sit on it comfortably and work hard for their company. After that, they make a rough presentation of their business plan and go to the banks and investors to get some investment money. However, no one agrees to give them the money as they are newbies in the business world with no prior experience. Also, their plan is not very elaborate and is not up to the mark. In the end, they go to Karika again with their proposal to get some money. Karika is a very sharp woman. She also doesn't come into their trap for lending them her money. She is playing 8-ball pool, and Haru offers that he can hit the balls in their sockets with just one hit, keeping his eyes closed. He demands investment money in return for this successful feat. Karika agrees and lets him try this. Haru closes his eyes with his necktie and then plays his turn. Luckily, they all go to their sockets when he hits the balls in just one hit. Karika is again impressed and offers them her money to start their new company, but she has some conditions. She wants 51% of their new company shares in exchange for 100 million yen, but Haru doesn't agree with her offer as this means that Haru and Gaku will have to work under Karika all the time. They decline the offer and go out. After that, they go to a party to celebrate the deal they got today but didn't close. There, they learn about a hacker tournament that is going to take place at Dragon Bank. Haru quickly registers themselves as a team using Gaku's picture. He also uses Karika's offer as bait and makes that offer the title of their team in that tournament. On the day of the tournament, Gaku is fighting alone against hundreds of hackers to become one of the top 12 hackers. He is solving problems and getting points, but his speed is too slow to compete with others who have big teams. But then, Haru comes in with many people with him on the video call. They are all newbie hackers, but they are enough to help Gaku win this round. The match happens for about 12 hours, and Gaku works throughout the night with all those newbies to get into the top 12 hackers. In the morning, Gaku comes to the rooftop to tell Haru that they have survived the round. They celebrate their win at the rooftop, and then wait for the final round. Now, on the day of the finals of the hackers, Gaku is again alone against all the teams, which have 4 to 5 hackers on each team. Dragon Bank has also brought its own team to the tournament. Haru comes there with a dress of a monk and some weird object to show that he is trying to pray gods for making them win in this tournament. as they want the prize amount to start their company. Before the match starts, Haru asks Gaku to connect the router after exactly 1 minute of starting time. When the match starts, Haru goes towards the stage and starts waving his weird object in the air. Actually, the object is made of silicon strips, which Haru was using to block the signals of the routers to reach the teams. That's why all the teams are facing difficulties to connect to the router. He stops for a moment, and after 1 minute, he asks Gaku to join the router. Meanwhile, the management team comes to know about the plan of Haru and stops him from doing this. Though Gaku found an edge in the start to connect to the router earlier due to Haru's help, he is losing the game as other teams are stronger than him and are taking all his points easily. Then, Haru reveals that all other teams are using the router Haru placed earlier, which is close to the stage. When Haru was blocking the signals, other teams found that router as an alternative and connected with it. Both routers have the same names, but Gaku can use their router to hack other teams' names and passwords. Gaku uses the opportunity created by Haru to hack the passwords of other teams and start attacking them massively. In no time, he reaches the top of the points table and wins the game. Kurika is also there and is happy to see them win. But then the management says that Haru cheated with the silicon strips by blocking the signals, so they are disqualified and can't get the prize money. Hearing this, when they are leaving, Mr. Kitoin comes in their way. He was one of the spectators and greatly impressed by Haru and Gaku, so he offers them 30 million to use as an investment for their new company. Mr. Kitoin takes them to a pub to finalize the deal. He threatens them to use the money carefully, otherwise they would have to be his slaves for the rest of their lifetimes. Also, he wants their company to make 300 million within 3 months' time. Haru and Gaku are very happy to receive the initial investment for their new company. They quickly start recruiting people. They give ads for the interviews, and many people show up there. As they have no experience in interviewing people, they use a book to get some ideas and use a question as a standard to judge the people. The question is, if you are selling a thing for 1,000 yen and your competitor is selling the same for 500 yen, then what would you do to sell it? Some applicants gave the correct answer, which was to purchase the competitor's article for 500 yen and then sell both for 1,000 yen. But a young woman applicant named Rin Rin doesn't answer at all. She says that she has already read the book from which the question is taken, so it would be dishonest if she answered it. Gaku and Haru like this woman's attitude and hire her. Gaku feels more connected to that woman. The next day, she comes to their apartment to start working on the company. But Gaku and Haru have no plans for the company. They even don't have any idea what to do. So, Rin Rin uses the knowledge of books that she has read in her lifetime to give them some ideas. In the end, they finalize to make an AI that would help people with their queries regarding the matter of gifting something to others. But making an AI demands a whole lot of budget and manpower, so they decide to make a fake AI, behind which Rin Rin would work to answer people's queries. They launch an app for their AI and appoint Rin Rin to answer all people's queries, whether after searching on the internet or just advising them from inside. They also make Rin Rin the company's president because having a young lady as their president can make the company's image more promising in society. Their idea becomes a success. Rin Rin works hard to answer people's questions. When, at the end of the month, they check the revenue of the company, it turns out that they are growing steadily, but they need a boost to reach their target. So, they again sit to further rectify their idea of AI. When they see the statistics, they come to know that people talk more about love and romance. Their queries surround romance as they cannot ask these questions from other people so easily. So, they zoom in on their niche and just focus on answering the queries of people relating to gifting flowers to other people. As Rin Rin has previous experience working in a flower shop, her recommendations go viral within no time. Within a month, they get a lot of traffic to their app, and at the end of the month, they get 300 million yen in revenue. They are very happy with their success and show the revenue to Mr. Kitoin, who is happy that his investment didn't go to waste. Kitoin then introduces them to Miss Suzuko, who is the owner of a flowering company. She invests in Trillion Game and also allows them to sell her flowers on their online platform. But she sets a huge number to achieve as their monthly revenue. Haru accepts the offer. But now, Trillion Game founders are planning to reach such huge revenue as their whole market is not as big. To reach such a big sale, they will have to conquer the market of nightclubs. People come there and spend a lot of money to entertain themselves. So, Haru and Gaku decide to go there and advertise their AI named Millionaire. Haru uses his exceptional persuasive skills and charm to attract ladies there. He becomes a good host at a nightclub and starts advertising his AI to the people he meets there. But Gaku unfortunately met with a woman who was a customer of some other host. That lady disrespects Gaku, and also the other host comes there with his friends. They take Gaku to a blind alley and start beating him, but Haru comes there and saves his friend. Then, the other host asks Haru what his main goal is for working at a nightclub. Haru tells him that he wants to sell his flowers to the customers here. Then, we see that Gaku makes a 3D model of their flowers to show them more presentably on their app. They also make their app easier to use. After that, they spread the trend of celebrating birthdays using flowers based on Turinrin's recommendations. Due to their extremely hard work, they are able to attract the market of nightclubs, and by that, their sales skyrocket. After the end of the month, when they check their statistics, the monthly revenue is according to Suzuko's demands. They are happy with achieving another milestone. Suzuko is happy to see the growth of the Trillion Game Company, and she deals with them to work more in the future. But the next day, we see that Dragon Bank has launched its own app to suggest flowers as gifts to people. Due to their extensive budget and media control, their advertising is huge, making their app viral within a day for the whole nation. They have copied the whole theme of Turinrin of Trillion Game Company and advertised it so much that people don't even know about Turinrin. In this way, the app of a Trillion Game Company flops, dropping its revenue massively. Actually, Kazuma Kakuryu, the father of Kurika, did all this. He is the president of Dragon Bank and cannot see anyone growing to the level of his company. He always crushes new businesses to make his monopoly in the market, the same way he did with Trillion Game this time. Gaku, Haru, and Rin are worried about their company because they don't have enough funds now to support it, and its reserves are dropping massively. The next day, Haru comes up with a new idea. He wants to enter the market of social games. He shows his plan to Gaku and Rin. They both agree with him after seeing the plan. The next step is that they have to find a company that can make a game with them, and for that, Rin makes a list, and Gaku and Haru go to those companies one by one, but they all reject them. In the end, they find a company that is not in good condition. They are operating from an apartment with no budget for the rent for the next month of that apartment. Haru convinces the president of that company, Sakura, to work with him to make an amazing game that will touch the hearts of the people. Haru also pretends that they have a large office and a huge amount of money to work on the game. Sakura agrees to work with him and comes to the Trillion Game Company apartment with all their luggage. Meanwhile, Haru calls them to inform them that he has rented a building for their office, and the whole team goes to that place. The new office is huge, and everyone is surprised to see it. Haru has spent a lot of money on it, and its rent is huge, which makes Gaku and Rin worried about finances. But Haru is convinced that they will make it through too. Haru shows them the roadmap of their future game. He wants to complete the game within 6 months, but no one can make a good game within such a short time. That's why Haru wants to make some amendments to an old game that has already been published. Everyone loved that game when they were kids, but it didn't earn much. Now, Trillion Game Company wants to make that game profitable. After that, they arrange a gathering for investors where they announce that a producer who previously made the #1 game in the nation is joining the Trillion Game Company to make this game. This announcement catches the attention of everyone. This is Mr. Hebijama, who has already made a wonder that became hugely profitable within days and is still at the top of the gaming industry. Mr. Hebijama made that game for Dragon Bank. Now he again announces that he will make a great game with Trillion Game Company. Suzuko is also there and is ready to invest in their new project. Seeing her, all the other investors come up to invest with them. The president of the gaming wing, Sakura, is very happy and excited by this new addition to their team. He always dreamt about working with Hebijama, but it turns out that Mr. Hebijama is a fake producer planted by Haru. The real identity of the producer of the #1 game of the nation is not known by anyone. Haru did all this to create a hype for getting good amount of investment, and he succeeded in his mission. They have accumulated about 2 billion yen from the investors. Haru also reveals that he doesn't intend to use this money to make a game, but he wants to make his own media empire. He asks Gaku to make a dummy game to show the investors. Actually, Haru doesn't want to be defeated by Dragon Bank again, as Dragon Bank has its own media empire, which makes it easy to advertise its projects. Haru wants the same for his company, Trillion Game. But by doing this, he hurts everyone's emotions, especially Gaku, Rin, and the gaming team. He tells Gaku everything and asks him to cover his back for some time. Then Haru goes to Kitoin and tells him his plan to acquire a media company, as Kitoin has already worked in the media company. But Kitoin is not sure yet whether to partner with Haru or not, so he takes some time to think about it. Meanwhile, Rin comes and shows Gaku that Haru has withdrawn the 2 billion yen from their account, which was accumulated to make the game. She is furious at Haru and wants to vent all her anger at him, but Gaku stops him from doing this. He doesn't want them to fight, and as far as the game is concerned, he says that he will make the necessary arrangements for making the game. Then he tells all the truth to their gaming team. After that, when Gaku sees that everyone is depressed by his unfortunate news, he tells them that he has a friend in Dragon Bank who knows about the producer of the nation's #1 game. He will contact him to learn about that producer so that the Trillion Game Company can hire him for their game. Sakura gets emotional when he sees that Gaku is a man with a heart, who is going against his friend's plan to make a game. He praises Gaku for this brave act. Meanwhile, Haru is making a plan with Kitoin to get the media company named God Promotion. Kitoin had worked in that company as an executive member, but he was struck out of the company by putting charges of a road accident, which he didn't even commit. A young actor of that company committed that accident, but the company could not bear the loss of that actor, so they put all the blame on Kitoin and struck him out of the company. Now Haru is planning to blackmail the company for revealing the real culprit of that accident. He wants the company to make Kitoin their president and save their image in front of the public. Gaku, on the other hand, hacks the Dragon Bank company to find out who the producer of that #1 game is. But when he is about to open that folder, he hesitates as it is an immoral thing, and then goes back. In the morning, Kurika's subordinates told her that their system had been hacked the previous night, but no data had been stolen. Moreover, the hacker updated their security settings, terminating all the loopholes in their system. Kurika quickly thinks about Gaku as he is the only one. She knows who can do this. So, she calls Gaku to meet him, and the way she asks him out is that she is taking him on a date. Maybe because she wants to thank him for his work. They meet in an amusement park the next day, and get many rides. They enjoy their whole day from dawn to dusk. In the end, Kurika tells Gaku that their company was hacked, and she knows who did it. Gaku is the only one who knows about the loopholes in her company's system, but instead of stealing anything, Gaku proved himself to be a gentleman and updated their security systems. This has impressed Kurika a lot. So, she asks why Gaku hacked into their system at first. Gaku tells her that he wanted to get the identity of a producer who made the #1 game. Kurika is deeply moved by his honesty, so she hands him a drive containing the identity of that producer. Gaku feels very happy to get that information. So now, Gaku and Rin go to meet the real Hebijama and ask him to join their company. But Hebijama demands 185 million yen as his salary to join their company, which is a huge amount for a startup company like Trillion Game. Hearing the amount, Gaku and Rin feel depressed, and they are about to leave without closing the deal. But then Haru comes there. He proposes the idea to Hebijama that he would work in their company as an external advisor for some days, and then they would pay accordingly until the complete transfer requirements are met. At this point, both parties agree, as now Trillion Game Company has to pay Hebijama less. After that, Haru tells Gaku that he is impressed by Gaku, as how he succeeded in obtaining the information of the producer from Dragon Bank. As Gaku is his friend and wants to make the game very passionately, Haru wants to help him in this matter. He is going to do both the tasks simultaneously, acquiring a media empire and developing a game. The next day, Haru and Mr. Kitoin meet some investors and convince them to sell their shares of God Promotion Company to them. They threaten them that the stock prices would go down once the news of the real culprit of the road accident came to the ears of the public. So, they buy the shares from the majority of investors this way by using the investment amount of the game. Meanwhile, Hebijama and Sakura are working together for the game, but their thinking is way opposite to each other. Hebijama wants to make the game most profitable in any way, but Sakura wants to make it more enjoyable at first and then profitable. Haru gets the importance of both of their ideas and asks them to work together as both things are very important to them. So, the whole team starts working hard on their game. In the Dragon Bank, Kikuria comes to know that Kurika has leaked the producer's information to their competitor company. At this point, Kurika says that her father can't stop those two boys, and that he should hand over the matter to her. Meanwhile, the game is live now, and it is making a lot of profits. Within days, it became the most played game all over the country because people loved playing the game. Seeing this, Kakuryu calls for Habijama and threatens him to leave the Trillion game. Otherwise, Kakuryu will crush him along with the Trillion game. Habijama is scared because Kakuryu can do anything because of his extreme power and influence. So, he leaves the Trillion game and goes back to Dragon Bank, where a ceremony is happening to announce their new game being produced by Habijama. But Gaku and Haru come there to meet Habijama. They try to convince Habijama to join back into the Trillion game as it is the only company where Habijama would be able to work by heart. But Habijama doesn't show any positive response to them and leaves for the ceremony. On the stage, Kakuryu announces to the world the real identity of the producer behind the #1 game in the nation. He also announces that Habijama is going to make another game for them now. But when Habijama gets the mic, he shocks everyone with his words. He announces his resignation from the Dragon Bank on the stage in front of everyone, and also announces that he is going to work with Trillion Game now as he experienced that the Trillion Game team can make the best games, which will not just be profitable but enjoyable too. And announcing in front of the public will help him not to be harmed by the Kakuryu also. Seeing this, Gaku and Haru are very happy along with the team of Sakura. But Kakuryu goes out disappointed. Haru and Mr. Kitoan are now getting the proxy votes to make Kitoan the president of God Promotion. They meet different executive members separately and make deals with them. After getting the God Promotion media company, Trillion Game is now advertising its game on all of its media platforms. They also use the actors of their media company to promote the game. This gives a huge boost to the game, which makes record-breaking profits. Within days, the whole nation comes to know about the game due to its extensive publicity, both organically and inorganically. In no time, the game became the #1 game in the whole nation. The whole Trillion Game company celebrates their success together. Now, Haru is planning to build a Trillion TV. For that, he buys an ordinary weather channel and starts building his TV from it. He adds many shows and hires people for TV. Haru wants to conquer the whole TV market as he will get big sponsors and a lot of money. But Dragon Bank plays a trick to stop their exponential growth in this industry. Karika partners with the famous international streaming channels to expand her own TV. She also partners with TV making industries to add a button for her TV channel to all the remotes of TVs. This makes Haru worried about his TV industry. Now, he has to find a way to beat his competitor. Kitoan gives him advice to include a news broadcasting channel to his TV. As a lot of people watch the news, it will be very helpful for Trillion TV to grow if they add a news channel to their company. So Haru goes to meet a news producer named Kanugi. Haru offers him the opportunity to join his news department as a producer. At first, Kanugi doesn't show any interest, but Haru knows that Kanugi doesn't find liberty in publishing all the news on his channel due to the restrictions from the owner. Kanugi wants the liberation of journalism, which is inevitable in his previous post. Haru uses this opportunity and promises to give him complete liberty to post all the actual news. Also, Haru brags about Gaku, saying that he is the best software engineer in the world who will help him build this channel. So Kanugi joins Trillion TV and start building their news department. After some days, they cover a live broadcast of an event where an escapee prisoner was holding some civilians as his refugees. Trillion TV got some exclusive footage which made their channel goes viral in the whole country. Their viewers increase from all over the country, and so they get a lot of sponsors also. All the team members are happy on this achievement and celebrate this success. Seeing this, Dragon Bank plays its card. Karika gathers all the news channels and holds a big press conference. There, she announces that their TV is going to give 3 years of subscription to all the country for free. This shocks the whole public because it is a bold move that Dragon Bank played against Trillion Game without thinking about their own losses. After this announcement, their TV goes viral within no time. To counter this move, Haru comes up with the idea of publishing some exclusive content on his TV. He wants to make an anime with an anime-making company. That anime would be aired on his TV, which would attract a large audience. So Trillion Game founders go to an anime-making company. Usami is the artist who designs anime for that company, and her anime goes viral among the public. She is loved by everyone throughout the anime lovers. But Dragon Bank has already reached there. They have made a deal with the manager of Usami for the upcoming anime, which will be aired on Dragon Bank's TV. Hearing this, Haru decides to meet Karika and tries to convince her that she should give that anime to him. But Karika has a business mind. She agrees to provide that anime to Haru, but in return, she wants Haru to be her pet. Haru is not the person who would agree to such an offer, so he declines it at the spot. On the other hand, Kokuryu meets Kidowin, who is now the president of God Promotion and handling all the media services of the Trillion Game Company. Kokuryu asks Kidowin to leave Trillion Game Company, and in return, he will give all the media works of Dragon Bank to Kidowin's God Promotion Company. There is no doubt that Kidowin can get a bigger business from Dragon Bank at this time, but still, he discusses the matter with Haru, who asks him to do what is better for his business. In the Kidowin, he decides to deny the offer of Dragon Bank as he wants to work more with Trillion Company. Kidowin has earned a lot by investing those first 30 million in Haru and Gaku, and he still thinks that these young boys can do more in the future. Haru again goes to the anime company and tries to convince its manager to work with them, but she is not ready as they have already made a deal with Dragon Bank. At this, Haru plays an emotional card and says that they want to make an anime about the life of Azumi, who is the manager herself. That anime was written about her life by herself 10 years ago and had never been published due to the extensive workload. Now Haru wants to make that anime for his own TV. In this way, he somehow succeeds in convincing Azumi. Now, the next step is to convince Usami herself, who is the designer and main artist of the anime. Haru knows that Usami loves self-appreciation and fame. Also, she wants to work with an international anime artist. So, he gathers all those points along with the point of anime on the life of Azumi, who was her best friend from childhood and handled her business throughout her life. In this way, he succeeds in convincing Usami to work with them. In the ceremony to announce the collaboration between the two companies, Gaku shows his new AI model, which can make anime a lot faster and easier. By using AI, they can make the anime within 6 months, which would otherwise take 2 years. There, in response to a question, Haru also announces to pay off the debt of Usami's company for making that anime with them and airing all of their previous anime on Trillion TV. It is a huge step ahead in promoting Trillion TV, which Haru has announced lately. Kiryu is also there at that ceremony and angrily goes out after hearing all these announcements. Seeing the success of Trillion Game Company, Kokuryu calls for Kurika and shows her that Trillion Company has copied their idea and invented a button on their TV on all the TV companies' remotes. Now, when Kurika failed to defeat Trillion Company, Kokuryu wanted to buy that whole company. He arranges a meeting with Gaku, Haru, and Kidowin. He offers 70 billion yen to them for selling their company to Kokuryu. Trillion Game then would operate as a subsidiary company under Dragon Bank. Also, Kokuryu offers Haru to marry Kurika, and in this way, Haru would be a part of their family and would run the Dragon Bank company. But Haru denies all of Kokuryu's offers, saying that he is already married and doesn't want to sell their company. The next day, Kokuryu appoints Kurika to a supermarket chain, withdrawing her from the main Dragon Bank company. On the other hand, Haru wants to enter a cashless company. He wants to make a system of safe payments from one person to another using only mobile apps and QR codes. But this industry is already very competitive. He offers to waive the transaction fees for 3 years, which is very helpful for both shop vendors and customers. So, the shop vendors happily started getting payments with their QR codes. They get promising growth by this step. But Haru wants to build this sector throughout the country. He also wants to integrate the payments for railways and metro buses through his app. That's why he meets with the owner of Pasca, the railway line's debit card company. Haru offers him to use his app instead of cards for the payments, because in this way, there would be no cost of manufacturing cards for the customers. The owner asks him to meet with the railway head about this type of change in the railway system. So, he goes to meet the railway's head and sees that Kurika is already there for her own cashless card promotion, but the railway head declined the offers of both of them, saying that railways are not a place to be commercialized for companies like them. Seeing this, Haru contacts Kurika and asks her to meet. He wants Kurika to join hands with him. The card of Dragon Bank works in the supermarket chain, while the app of Trillion Game Company is also popular with shop vendors. So, if they join hands, then they can easily convince railways to use their QR codes in their transactions. This move proved very fruitful, and they succeeded in convincing the executive board members of railways towards themselves. But Kokuryu becomes angry by seeing this. He takes it to his ego that his own daughter is joining hands with the enemies. So, he makes a plan to crush the Trillion Game Company. The next day, Trillion Game Company founders watch a news on the TV. Pasca is joining hands with the newly founded company Sway Sway, backed by Dragon Bank. Overnight, Kokuryu turned the table and used his power to bring all the railway executive board members to his side while declining the offer of Trillion Game. Amidst this chaos, Gaku receives a call from Kanugi saying that their servers are going down. When Gaku checks the servers, he finds out that they have been hacked and all their data has been stolen. He sees that their security has been breached by someone for the last 5 to 6 days, and all of their data was stolen slowly. Someone did this from the inside. Gaku calls Haru to tell him all about the situation. Haru, at that time, is sitting with Kakuryu, who has a victorious smile on his face. Kakuryu did this to them because they touched his ego by declining his offer. He can't see anyone growing to his level. Rin says that as the president, she will take responsibility for this data breach. As they had the data of millions of users of their game department stolen, someone should come ahead and take that responsibility. Rin holds a press conference and resigns from the position of president. She is feeling very emotional because she has seen this company grow from a single-room apartment to $1 billion company. On the other hand, Kakuryu again offers Haru and Gaku to get 70 billion yen and sell him their company. This time, Haru agrees to his offer and gives off all of his shares in the Trillion Game Company. Gaku tries to convince him to rethink his decision, but Haru is stubborn about his decision. He says that it is the best time to close their company, and 70 billion is not a very small amount. Gaku still doesn't believe him and does not sell his shares in the company. Kitowan has also sold his shares of Trillion Game Company and went to the world tour by that money. Trillion Game is now a subsidiary company working under the Dragon Bank. All their operations are aborted, terminating their creativity. The game department is set to check the bugs on the previous games instead of building new games. The news department is also being monitored a lot. Gaku is standing depressed on the rooftop, thinking about his company. He can't believe Haru can leave him like this. But then Haru comes from behind. He tells him that he is doing all this according to a plan. He is going to destroy the Dragon Bank from inside, as they did to our Trillion Game Company. Haru believes that it is the only way to survive as a company now. He says that as long as Gaku has his shares in the Trillion Game, no one can take that company from them. Haru also gives Gaku the passkeys to the office of Kakuryu. The following day, Gaku goes to the office hidden in the dress of a cleaner. There, he hacks their whole system and copies all the data. He turns off the cameras and deletes the footage of him doing all this. But Kakuryu finds out who hacked their system through the hidden camera in the eye of the horse statue in his office. Now, he has proof against Gaku and Haru, and he is going to make them suffer. But Haru then stands up and says that it is not their end, but the end of the empire of Kakuryu. Haru says that he wants Kakuryu to sell his shares, and then he will choose a new president to replace Kakuryu. Kitowan arranges for the investors who want to buy these shares on his international trip. Haru has video footage of Kakuryu from the laptop's front camera. Gaku recorded all this footage when he hacked his system. That footage shows how he controls the news channels from spreading negative news about his company. Also, it is shown how he ordered his men to take down the Trillion Game Company. If Haru gave that footage to the media and public, the Dragon Bank Company would suffer a lot, and their shares would lose their value. Haru has also convinced Karikra to sell her shares. By combining her shares, they have 51% of the shares, which is enough to make a new president in place of Kakuryu, and Haru announced that the new president would be Gaku. Haru himself can't be the president because he did insider trading to sell the shares of Dragon Bank, which is illegal. And from now on, Dragon Bank has been made a subsidiary company of Trillion Game. Also, all the departments of both companies are merged together to work more effectively. Haru and Gaku get Rin back to their company. Karika is also working with them as the president of Dragon Bank under the Trillion Game Company. Haru has left them and gone in disguise for several months. After a year, when Gaku again is trying to get a cold drink from a vending machine, his note slips from his hands. There, Haru comes and catches his note by jumping in the air. Then Haru gets Gaku in his Lamborghini and drives him to a port. Haru is now planning to expand his business to the export level, as his main goal is to make $1 trillion. They both say that they are the most selfish people in the world.